What do I want to do with my life? Chapter 1. Your life is your true nature or soul. All this career soul searching is bullshit for most people because they're mundane by nature. Discover yourself, then figure out a way to earn money from that. The big question is, do you really care what you do as long as the money is good? When I was in grade 9, hanging out with my friends at the schoolyard at night drinking cheap wine, smoking cigarettes and dope, I started to realize that not one of them was like me. I'm the only guy as far as I knew who took a bus down to the shopping center to buy a set of weights because I wanted to lift weights. I'm the only kid as far as I knew who wanted to do a long bike ride, so one Sunday afternoon, I started driving around the Bedford Highway and I did the 35-mile loop, then I kept doing it. If you're naturally inspired, you feel it, you know it. I stopped socializing years ago because I realized straight on, everyone is a bullshitter. Everybody says how great and adventurous they are, but the vast majority of people are mundane wimps who want to work any job to make money so they can go home to get high and eat junk food in comfort. That's it. A job is no big deal. I picked teaching when I was young, but it was bullshit. I didn't believe what I was teaching, psychology, and I had to stick with the curriculum anyway. It was boring to me. All jobs are boring to me, which is why I created my own. Most people don't give a crap what they do as long as they make decent money, so don't take this career choice thing too hard. Life goes on and on. If you're true to yourself, you will eventually gravitate to your true self. Do what you feel is natural. Suppose you were free day after day. After a month of watching late night TV, getting high then sleeping all day, would you eventually start getting up to do something because you want to feel some kind of self-respect or just feel good? When you feel that, that's your natural purpose. Don't listen to tests, your father, or the guidance counselor. Listen to what you feel, away from the brainwash of the world. I wanted to work out, get high, then do some creative stuff to occupy my mind. I didn't want to work at a gym or be a physical education teacher, so I started writing books to pay for my free time to do the stuff I like to do. It's no big deal because I'm resting at night anyway. TV is nothing to me. I can't stand watching most fiction, so I spend my time exercising my mind. For you, as the lost soul I presume you are, the only thing I can say is, what do you gravitate to if you have a block of free time like a month? After getting high and sleeping in for a week, then what? Is there something you want to get out of bed to do? If there isn't, you're a typical mundane person. Get any job. It won't matter. Go for the money. If something really interests you enough to get out of bed for, look for a way to make money in that field. The real world for young people. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are. And you know what you want. Lao Tzu. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. And you? When will you begin that long journey into yourself? Rumi. When I discover who I am, I'll be free. Ralph Ellison. There are 3 things extremely hard: steal a diamond and to know oneself. Benjamin Franklin. No matter how idealistic, beautiful, cool, or cute your life is right now, living in your parents' home, going to that phony liberal fantasy land called school, watching those fantasy land shows on TV, playing those fantasy video games and doing all that frivolous stuff with intimate strangers and fake friends online, it's just you as a loner soul in life. You probably were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth like the royal families of the world, so your life will soon be the constant matter of earning enough money to pay for a roof over your head, utility bills, foods, clothes, entertainment, transportation, and any superficial things you might want beyond that, like junk food, recreational drugs, booze, porn, fashion, video games, an ATV, a boat, makeup, etc. The bottom line in the capitalist matrix is to earn enough money to at least survive, but hopefully thrive and make all the money you want to live out your greatest fantasies, hopes and dreams, look good and get all the love and sex you want on the side. All young people in our Western capitalist matrix have been brainwashed to be successful according to monetary standards, not the real standards of your soul. My version of success is to do pretty well exactly what I want all the time. I have a small house and own my free time. I can't buy a yacht and do all the cocaine I might want, but every single day, I do exactly what I want. Nobody tells me what to do. The capitalist version of success is to make money. Be a fashionable dandy/big shot in your local area or even on TV in the gossip news, get caught up in owning big cars, big houses, big boats, etc. Achieve status in the community. Be respected by peers in whatever field you choose. Youth is generally referred to as the ages between 18 to 24. Young adult is 24 to 35. This is what I think is important for young people, or anybody at any age for that matter. Enlightenment, discovering your true nature. Getting a trade, profession, or college education. Knowing how to look for a good job. Starting a business if you want. Learning about money. The search for love and a mate. Sex, as distinct from love, the natural urge. I cover this mostly in other books. Fun, entertainment, mundane hedonism like traveling around. Young people have the same issues and problems older people have, but they're more passionate and intense for a number of reasons, like insecurity, a need to prove oneself, fear of life, massive indoctrination, naive exuberance. The greatest shortcomings young people have are no experience in living on one's own, therefore no wisdom about the real world. Sense of entitlement if you were brought up living a comfortable life, not in poverty. No scope on the routine misery, problems, poverty, and homelessness rampant within the human race. Extreme sense of self-centeredness. A naive sense that the way life is presented in the media and in school is the way things are, which is not true because everything is corrupt and evil under the facade of bland niceness and good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Everybody thinks they're good, but we really tend more towards selfish to evil than goodness. Many young people think that so-called celebrities are advanced people with superior intellect and creative talents, not ordinary people manufactured to be stars in order to sell product. I saw a sitcom with a sarcastic punk as the star working a minimum wage job, living in a big apartment with a huge loft, nice clothes, gadgets, etc., never seeming to worry about money at all. The mass media creates an unrealistic picture of life to naive young people who think that TV reality is roughly the same as real life, which is much harder. You have to constantly pay bills, otherwise you'll be homeless or couch surfing somewhere as an unwelcome guest. No matter how good your brothers or BFFs are, everybody wears out their welcome after about 3 days. People need their own privacy to poop in peace, masturbate, be a slob, etc. You are who you are regardless of your gadgets, apps, or social media. You are a pure essence alone living in your own head, but the world has brainwashed most young people into thinking it's cool to be plugged in, to always be going on FB, Twitter and Instagram reading and posting meaningless garbage that adds nothing to the quality of a great life. You want to be the person you dream of in your fantasies. You want love and intimacy, a deep connection with a kindred spirit soulmate equal. In order to become the person you want to be, you need constant action to create yourself day after day, which I won't discuss here. To live a full life, you have to know your identity/true nature and release that natural energy inside of you every day. If you want real love, you don't go looking for scraps of attention by posting frivolous junk online. You create yourself to be an independent, strong, noble person who loves life. Only if you're like that do you develop a way about yourself that attracts worthy people, not needy, lonely people online looking for something to fill up their sense of emptiness. Most young people brought up in modern Western societies suffer from extreme narcissism and a naive, deluded sense of entitlement because they were brought up in a fantasy bubble thinking life is easy and fun. Their parents paid for a nice life for them. They watched all those Disney family movies on the Disney networks and Nickelodeon TV where everybody has all the nice things they want and everything always ends well. They see the fantasy cute life on TV every day where people are nice and friendly. The teachers in school taught them a middle-class, liberal view of life where everything is fun, cute and clean, people are nice, noble, and middle-class sanitized. The truth is that the human race is disgustingly evil clothed in a facade of charm. Go back to the second story in the Bible. Cain kills his brother Abel because he's jealous and wants his stuff. Winston Churchill, the fat old mess of a man, really a pig, said one thing that made sense. Most people start off liberal, but if they're not conservative by the time they're 50, they have led a stupid, sheltered life. Most young people have a Pollyanna view of life with a naive sense of idealism that can only be cured by dealing with people in real life day after day for several years. As a young man, I went into both the education and nonprofit sectors expecting the people were working there because they sincerely wanted to help people, but I concluded that most are a bunch of selfish phonies just like in any other field, looking for an easy life away from the high pressure of sales in a capitalist world. They don't teach you this anywhere. You learn it by watching how people operate. I saw the alcoholics, the overweight middle-aged managers hitting on the girls, and the lazy CEOs earning six-figure incomes in a supposedly helping job who were in these fields because they're easy jobs with no accountability, unlike the business fields. Young people like to think they're exceptionally special. They think they're original and have great ideas that the world is waiting for. They think they will be great pioneers of change, but they don't realize that the leaders already in positions of power were young people once who had to bow down to their elders and work their asses off for many years in order to get to their positions, and now that they're there, they don't want any shit from whippersnapper young punks. The unwritten rule in order to get ahead is to do what you're told and shut up until you prove yourself enough for your bosses to give you greater responsibilities. Many young people think college is the great land of opportunities. You just have to get a degree or two, then some good job is waiting for you with a good salary. The truth is that you create your own life through what you do. Hopefully you earn a living by doing what you like, not what society says is cool and successful. I wrote a book about college life and how useless most degrees are, especially in those big fake mind control fields called the social sciences, which is 100% bullshit because every human lives alone in their own heads. Everything else about life is what other people created, so it's all bull next to your own unique feelings, drives and desires. As far as love goes, that's another delusion for many young people. By the time they're 18, the average teenager has watched 10,000 love stories and movies on TV. Almost every show has at least one love subplot. It's all about monogamous love, but the truth is that all men are sexual dynamos by nature and would prefer to have a harem of women at their beck and call in an ideal world, but they get brainwashed by the idea of love, fall for the hormonal passions, then 3 months to a year later don't understand why the love has faded. It's about hormones. Most of us are too stupid to feel our true selves purely, so we go along with society's indoctrinating ideas, which includes love with marriage, kids, and family, when the truth is that the average guy wants to watch porn and shoot missiles off, but you're allowed to be a sucker. Most people are, so you're in good company with the other clones. Society wants you to be a good working family man or woman, constantly paying bills and taxes, buying stuff. Is that who you really are? Is that happiness? Pop culture is a vast machine geared to tell young people what's cool in order to control them and make money off them. It's not cool. It's just somebody else's bullshit thrust on stupid, naive young people. Fashion, video games, and action movies are all silly nothingness next to a person's own natural sense of lust, love and inspiration. There's music and fun. The only time in life that people are really allowed to have fun and explore the world is when you're young. If I, as an older man, want to go out and explore the world on my own now, people would think I'm a weirdo because old people don't fit in anywhere like festivals, concerts, gyms, nightclubs, hostels, parties, backpacking around the world, playing on a sports team, etc. Youth is the only time when society lets people party, go out and do things without frowning on them, so I'm telling you to do things now before you get caught up in that rat race, hamster wheel of a job, career, family, kids, and bills, because when you get there, you will see that it's not all it's cracked up to be, contrary to all the bullshit you see everywhere about happy families. Get real. You've been brainwashed since day one. Try to discover who you really are, then have the guts to live by it, but most people won't because they're too weak, even though virtually all young people think they're exceptionally cool and special. This is the folly of youth, the delusions of grandeur. It's good to dream big, but the hard part is the sweat equity day after day. Most people don't have that kind of tenacity unless they love what they do. Do whatever you want as long as you follow the laws and don't hurt people, animals, or the earth. The need to earn money to pay bills will grind you down until your spirit is almost gone, replaced by a steady routine mundane job. You will take on an addiction to feel good in order to replace the natural joy of life, which is to do what you feel in your soul. The most common addiction is food, followed by silly TV shows. This is your destiny. Most people are not strong enough to follow what they feel. What's real in life? This chapter is not specifically about looking for a job or a career, but the existential problem of human existence is to find inner meaning or purpose, which is why I felt that if this book is to be the best job book ever, I must get past all the official bull about tests, aptitudes, counselors, career profile articles, etc., and simply tell you to take a look at my life. I was a 30-year-old yuppie with a good teaching job, some status, a mortgage on a house full of furniture and a wardrobe of clothes, and it was like, so what? This is what I was brainwashed to buy into as the standard path to success, but it meant nothing to me. Then I went through my bohemian phase and I realized that it's not much fun being a starving artist either if you're always worrying about being homeless. My final conclusion for most people, though not me because I'm a desperado extremist by nature, is even if you're not greatly in love with a certain occupation, get a practical skill that's always in demand, that's not that hard to train for, like one of the allied health professions. Then do that while you explore your life, trying to discover who you really are and what you really want to do. I went straight from yuppie to hippie. I was naive. I thought it would be easy to earn a living through my own creative efforts, but the world is tough in every field, including the fine arts. It's full of ass-licking bull, just like in any field. It's not like everybody's working together as though in a musical in trying to create a great work of art. It's more like everybody has got their own creative ideas. Only the few people at the top get to be creative and everybody else does what they're told. If you want to bring your own creative ideas to light, as in making music, cartoons, movies, writing books, painting pictures, being an actor, etc., there are a lot of other creatively inspired people out there who have the same dream as you and are competing with you. You might need to attract an investor. Even if you do, you still have to compete in the marketplace to sell your product, and the marketplace for artsy products is way overflooded. If you have a creative idea for a business, you're still stuck with all the tedious parts of running a business. Most people don't want to live in the ghetto with a bunch of desperados worrying about when you'll be on the street or when you'll get robbed because of the area you live in. It's not as romantic as the movies make it seem. Be real. Live in the real world. Keep one foot on the ground and one in the clouds. Follow your heart halfway and follow your head halfway. If you follow your heart only, there's a good chance you'll be a starving artist. If you follow your head, you'll have a secure job, but you won't be happy. Except for the very few flukes who get what they want, life must be a compromise. It's better to be 50% happy than to tend to one extreme and be miserable. Life is not as clean as it appears on TV, with everybody having clear-cut roles. There are lots of moonlighters, part-timers and people with portfolio careers around. They have a safe, steady day job to pay the bills, then afterwards they pursue their real passions as a secondary job, hoping that they can succeed enough such that the secondary becomes the primary job. That's as good as it gets. Don't listen to all the hype about going for your dreams. Most people's dreams are some image they got from pop culture entertainment, like being a pop star or a professional athlete. Chances are it isn't going to happen. Live in the real world. Everybody likes to think they're free and enlightened, but everybody has been brainwashed just like I was until I was about 30. The bottom line is that you have to know who you are in your true nature, then release that inspired energy every day in a way that earns you your living. That's all you have to do, align your true nature with the means to earn a living. It's kind of like, this is what I really, really love to do. How do I earn a living from it? A free spirit's search for enlightenment leads to the only thing that really matters. We are spirits in human bodies. We will live on after our bodies die in a spirit world of love where we are our true natures, but in this world we're assaulted by the need to survive, earn a living and be around other people, often taking on their thoughts and ideas as our own even though they're not. This causes inner disharmony and turns most of us into mean, selfish to evil, ugly, competitive people out for ourselves while pretending to be nice and good. A person of integrity who lives by their true nature tries to do what's right and good from what they feel within themselves, both for their own benefit and to help the world. Most people are indoctrinated and so afraid of life that they take on the artificial values of the world, often without realizing they're brainwashed and not following who they really are by nature. This causes self-betrayal and inner disharmony day by day, if you don't release this natural inspired energy within yourself, but rather either release artificial energy by following the values of the world or do not do much of anything but absorb pop culture entertainment and material goods, which a lot of people do. Whatever you were naturally drawn to and doing at 5 years old is probably who you really are, but then you got brainwashed by the world. Enlightenment is to firstly discover your true nature, this natural intuitive standard within yourself of who you were born to be. Honor it day by releasing all the natural energy within yourself in these areas without breaking any laws or doing anything evil. Inspired, sexual, loving, hedonistic, practical. Do something from within your store of inspired energy for your own good and for the good of the human race. The world is so brutal and competitive that it brainwashes just about everyone to seek success in it. Myself personally, I choose to live like a pauper for at least a year as a young man so I could have the free time to do what I wanted with what I had as a poor man. Over time, I gravitated to the few things I want to do naturally anyway. That's my nature, what naturally inspires me. I don't really care about much except for being who I was born to be by nature. What are you naturally curious about? Discover what you love to do. Figure out what the world needs that you can do that uses up your natural abilities to earn a living. Don't listen too much to all the talking and noise out there. Follow the natural bliss and flow with yourself. Be who you naturally are one day at a time. You are really your essence. Release that natural energy every day. Get some goals and work on them day by day. Chances are that you can't do it alone. You have to go out into the world and meet like-minded people so you can help each other get what you want out of life. Many people can't succeed on their own. It's much easier to watch TV and eat junk food. You have to discover your true nature, then decide that you were born to release that energy every day, and that's it. That's what you do because it earns you self-respect and well-being. If you feel weak, join a motivational group through meetup.com. yourlifeyourterms.blogspot.ca. Why I'm free and enlightened. How can I get beyond common, average indoctrinated values? The path to the greatest life possible is to release the natural energy you feel within yourself when you wake up every morning to meet an inherent standard of who you feel you were born to be. This is your true nature, away from everything you've ever been indoctrinated by, but a lot of people don't feel it or know it because they've been massively brainwashed by the society they live in. The only 2 rules of life are: 1. You have to earn a living to cover the basic practical needs of life unless you're in jail, supported by someone, or financially secure. 2. You can't interfere with other people's lives or otherwise break rules that will get you thrown into either jail or the nuthus. Beyond these rules, most people want to get love and give love, which is all fine and good, but everybody lives alone in their head most of the time, so you must find happiness within yourself, otherwise all the love in the world directed at you won't help you much. The only people who go through life feeling happy and strong virtually all the time are the ones who know that all they are and all they own is the pure free spirit within themselves. They must honor it every day by releasing the natural energy in their free spirits. If any person does not release this natural energy, over time, they will lose a hold of whatever power, youthful spark, and inspiration they may have started out with. They will start to feel mundane, then degenerate into an average flatline life where they will be ruled by society's institutions and the mass media. You can't lose your free spirit. This purity that is you is always there inside of you. It's your inherent archetype, but if you don't exercise it and allow yourself to get indoctrinated by artificial values not natural to you, your free spirit gets covered over by all this stuff and gets weak, flabby, mundane, tired, and depressed. I started out like any well-intentioned kid in grade school. I wanted to succeed within the system, so I went to college and became a teacher, whereupon I tried to live a yuppie lifestyle, which is all about working a so-called professional job, buying material things I didn't need in order to match some illusion of a cool, successful lifestyle I got from the mass media and pop culture entertainment. My life became a routine, working every day, trying to move up the career ladder, making money so I could buy more material things I didn't need and upgrade my house and car every few years. After about a decade of this, I was about as empty as I had ever been in my life. I knew I couldn't go on doing this because it would mean a spiritual death and a wasted life for me. At the time, I didn't really understand what was happening to me, I just knew I was dying inside. I quit my job, went out into the world seeking enlightenment, excitement, adventure, and fun. I did the proverbial hero's journey that Joseph Campbell talked about in his writings about the myths of the world. Myths in general are allegories about people leaving their homes to seek fame, fortune, and adventure. They fight dragons and otherwise get cut to pieces by the evil and adversity out in the world, then like the phoenix rising from the ashes, they slowly get back up and regenerate, a little wiser, more cynical, bruised and stronger than before. The thing is that all throughout these myths of humanity, it's not really about the adventures and stories about the hero in the outside world. That's just the setting or the stage through which an individual discovers the true meaning of life, which is to discover their true identity, who they really are, then live by it. That's what life comes down to. Who were you born to be by nature? Who are you in the midst of all the archetypes and possibilities out in the world? The individual must see enough evil to know the world is nowhere near the naive, idealistic, rosy visions he was brought up to believe in. The hero's journey is not about going to college or being an exchange student sheltered on a college campus anywhere. You have to go out and see how people really live, including the poor, the exploited, the desperate, the crazy, the wealthy, the elitists, the arrogant, the powerful and the criminal element. Once you know the world is more Machiavellian than Pollyanna, and you know that every organization, institution, and human being has the potential for evil, often in the name of good, you don't have any utopian vision left anymore, so you're free to pursue the only thing you know for sure in this life, which is the purity you feel within yourself. If you want to be an enlightened free spirit, you must not have allegiance to anything other than the spirit you feel with yourself. If there's a God, this is what he gave you. All institutions, organizations, religions, psychobabble, and New Age ideas were created by man, therefore they're fallible and cannot reach any higher in understanding the human condition than any individual can on his own. I traveled and met a lot of people until I realized that planet Earth is the same everywhere geographically, meaning that the sky is blue, the sun rises every day, trees are green and the earth is brown. So traveling lost its luster for me. Then I realized that people are the same everywhere. Most are a gray mixture of good and bad, they want to be happy, and most have been brainwashed by capitalism. Human nature is fundamentally self-centered. If we were really as good as we like to think we are, we would share what we have and all the world's domestic problems would be solved, but instead we live in a cutthroat world where people rob, plunder, exploit, kill each other for a few dollars, then try to build big houses with lots of security so they can hoard their wealth in peace. That's what's going on out into the world that no classroom can teach you. I didn't live like monks and New Age cults do in some communal type setting, but I did live alone with no job to answer to and enough money such that I didn't have to work for several years as long as I was frugal about it. It was then that I made my big discovery about the human condition. All my life I had been massively brainwashed to try to achieve success in the capitalist world so I could make lots of money, and some people within my community would recognize me as a very important person, a VIP with some status. I was born with a certain pure essence as an individual that had been covered over by the ideals of capitalism, religion, and patriotism since I started watching TV and going to church at 3 years old. It came out partially in some of the interests of my youth, but I didn't realize what my true nature was until I was totally free to do anything I wanted to do. Day after day I found myself doing the same few things over and over again. These are what I call my inspired pursuits. They're mostly physical activities and creative intellectual pursuits. After this, I have some sensual hedonistic desires like any normal person, and I like to give love and get some back. Intuitively I felt that this is what I was born to do. It gives me power, strength, inspiration, a sense of youthful spark and a feeling of pleasure, happiness, and euphoria to do exactly what I want with me life freely. It's the fountain of youth, the key to longevity. I can't think of anything else that I'd rather do than blow off that load of natural energy every day in its three facets: inspired, sensual, hedonistic, and loving. I kept haphazardly doing what I wanted to do until one afternoon I was running around a park. I looked over and saw all the traffic on the street, then wondered why are they all there and I'm the only one here running around on a nice day. It seems like the most natural thing to do when the weather is good: go outdoors and enjoy it. Many people feel neurotic when they're not answering to a job or school. I feel that they're all chasing illusions of a fantasy life in the future that they think they're working for, but all we have is right now. The past doesn't matter. You shouldn't mull on it, especially if it's negative, so that shoots the so-called pseudoscience of psychotherapy down. The future doesn't matter because you can only live it when you get there. I create my life as I live it. I have very few material needs. I earn money through my creative pursuits. That's enough for me to live freely all the time, answering to no one but myself. You either enjoy your life as you live it or you lose, because by signing up for any paper chase or rat race, by the time you're ready to enjoy the money you've made, you will have destroyed your body and soul in the process. That day in the park, I finally figured it out. I have my own natural, intuitive standard of how I should live and who I should be. Society had totally fooled me into playing its game until I was about 30 or so, when I realized that I had been sold a bill of goods and indoctrinated to live a certain lifestyle and think a certain way, but somewhere deep down I had a whole other pure, natural lifestyle inside of me that I was born with. This is huge. Most people, when they think they're being free, are still following society's formula. Chapter 2. Where do I fit in the world? 1. Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. I listened to this teaching on YouTube. Just type it in on youtube.com. Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. It was very simple. Everybody confronts themselves at some point in time in the privacy of their minds, away from all that stuff we call the world, the human race, or society. Good people see that they are a good person. Bad people see that they are evil scumbags, even though they pretend they aren't out in the world. Many people lose their natural sense of who they are because of the artificial values of the world, which are money, fame, power, status, etc. There is only one answer to constantly feeling good about yourself. That is that the world is constantly in need. There is always a need of something good to be done everywhere. Simply do the good that needs to be done wherever you are. That's the entire lesson. Somewhere inside of you there is some semblance of a good person, even if you're a fat, selfish, lazy pig right now who wants to watch hockey games and eat chips. Be that person. Don't be idle, sitting around doing nothing useful like watching TV, drinking booze, eating at restaurants. Get to work doing something useful. The need is everywhere. There are people and animals suffering everywhere right now. Jeff Barrick or Dollar Vigilante YouTube channels, the guy is honestly exploring his feelings about life. He's a middle-aged guy who realized he was depressed, living in the capitalist matrix. Now he's trying to be healthy, but he goes overboard in some ways. For instance, coffee enemas are not natural. You don't need to stick something up your butt. He hires some phony health expert over Skype and shares the video. There's nothing new under the sun. She's spewing off generic crap out of any health book at hashtag 611-613 at the library, but Jeff is a gem because he's being honest to a certain point, but all men lie because we have to hide the incredible sex drives we were born with. $6gilant.tv. Success Psychobabble. Focus on who you are and what you naturally like to do that can earn money. Forget about being scared. Do what you were naturally born to do with passion and intensity. Keep going no matter what. Enjoy what you do. People will respond to your joy for your work. Do what makes you feel fulfilled. Don't be a crybaby. Nobody wants to hear you sniveling. Develop a positive state of mind where you feel like a winner because you're doing the best thing you possibly can, following your true nature. All you have to do is find a good job, a product to sell or a service to offer that makes use of your true nature. Creativity is easy. Listen to your inner voice. Learn about marketing and selling from my business book and books at number 658 at the library. There should be no procrastination. You live to express what's in your true nature. Don't spend all your money. Save and invest. Are you willing to work hard at what you love to do to get the money you want? Here's how people get rich. Self-owned business. Business MBA type. Doctors, lawyers, and other professionals. Sales. Buy cheap products in Asia, sell them worldwide. Stock market. Real estate. Invention. Entertainment. Writing a book. To become wealthy, acquire money, then use it to make more money. Find a need and fill it. Offer specialized knowledge. Offer an almost unique skill or be the best at your skill. Strive to exceed the expectations of your customers or your boss. Live debt-free. You have to network and develop contacts. Expand your contacts by getting involved in community service organizations. Be a good worker. Show up on time. Do the job well quickly. Be able to express yourself clearly. Love the work you do so you're energetic about it. Find a near unique product or service. Start off with an accepted product, then find a way to improve it in some way. Your true nature info. Discover who you were born to be in your true nature, then figure out a way to earn a living from it. Where do you feel powerful? I feel powerful when I swim, but I can't earn a living from it. I feel good when I'm in the process of creating this book. I can earn a living from that because I am doing something useful in a practical, down-to-earth way. I'm down on all the brainwash on TV with all them pop idol type talent shows putting ideas into people's heads about doing something frivolous to earn a living. Every pop star is a fluke who got lucky to some extent, because there are loads of people who can sing pretty good and sashy around acting like arrogant stars, but only a few luck out and actually make a lot of money from it. If you're working a job you don't like now, you'll never be happy until you do something closer to your true nature. What truly interests you other than sex and drugs and rock and roll? Find a blog or two where someone is blogging about the job or business you're interested in. I'm a bohemian hippie. That's why I always knew I could never work for someone else, so because I'm a creative intellectual anyway, I figure I'd create the best practical information books ever. Same thing for you. Do what you feel is right. Screw the naysayers. Everybody hates anybody trying to bust out of the rat race. I know, because I was crucified for being an aimless hippie while I was working my ass off on these books. Don't listen to anyone. Nobody understands you but you. Try one of them free online career interest tests. What's your motive in life/life calling? Who can I best serve? Define what you can do to serve others to earn money in one sentence. Everyone knows something that is of value to others. Passion makes work fun and easy. Finding the job that's right for you requires enough soul searching to discover your true nature, then go with it no matter what. Who am I should be the most important question anyone ever asks. Who are you purely away from the brainwash of the world? Figure it out, then figure out a way to earn a living at it. For your own sake, don't just blindly pursue career success because you've been brainwashed to think that's what it's all about. Doing what you want within reason is really what it's all about, not just trying to make it to the top of your profession. Here are some motives people have. Be inspired. Feel good. Enjoy my life. Money. Fame. Help people. Adventure. Challenging problems. Competition. Creativity. Be free. Independence. Influencing people. Status/prestige. Structure. Work-life balance. Do what's fun for you that can help others. Fun is a serious issue. Let's take away sex and romance as among the two biggest ways to feel pleasure. Addiction to drugs or alcohol are up there too, but they're negative. They destroy you. Then there is frivolous fun like watching music videos, eating junk food, playing video games, reading romance novels, etc. These activities are mostly passive and produce nothing tangible for the world. Discover what you like to do in your true nature. Figure out a way to earn a living from it. When you do what you love what you do. Do what inspires you and makes you feel on fire for your life. The only way you will ever release all the natural energy inside of you is to do what you love that somehow helps other people who will pay you for what you do. What is intuitive, fun, and natural to you? What is original or kind of unique about you in your local area? Every local area has needs. These are called niches. Find the niche that you can fill and do it. What is different about you that is positive and good? What problems do you and others encounter in daily life? Can you solve one of them? Forget about being politically correct. As long as you do not break any laws, be yourself. Accept mistakes as part of the learning process. How can you save somebody some time? Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher, said, "A great concept passes through 3 stages when it is new. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident." Converting your natural interests into money takes time to happen. Along the way you will need determination, persistence, and resiliency. Don't pick a field or niche that's too narrow. There has to be enough interest in it in order for you to make money. Be sensible about whatever you decide to do. Don't go in with blind optimism. Just because you like to tinker with typewriters doesn't mean you can make a living fixing them. Most people now use computers with printers. Be kind and nice along the way. Don't listen to naysayers. Focused mind info. Focus on one thing without being distracted with other thoughts or other actions. Relax. Feel what's natural within you. Focus on what's important in your life. Staying focused takes practice. Decide that you will focus only on the few things that matter to your life and shut all other distractions out. It should all be natural and intuitive. Know your purpose, your abilities, and your weaknesses. Sometimes focusing on one thing can lead to other ideas or questions. Explore them. It's all good if it's natural. Bad is to listen to mass media all the time. Willpower should be simply you following your true nature. Modern society is screwed because they want you to force things by pursuing ambitions artificial to your true nature. That's why people get depressed and stressed. Time management is modern society psychobabble bullshit. If you can't live your life doing what you intuitively feel, you're really brainwashed. You should know exactly what to do next all the time. Self-control is honoring your identity by releasing your natural energy day by day. Live in the now, not in the past, not thinking of the future. Calm down. Be in the present moment. When changes occur, deal with them and get back to your real self. Your natural conscience of good and bad should be your rudder in life. Be honest. Do the right thing. You can only think of one thing at a time, so think about what's best for you next. Daydreaming is good because it's who you really are. Feel your emotions because they're you. It's better to release negative emotions without hurting others than to keep them bottled up inside. The mind controls physical health to some extent. A healthy mind helps create a healthy body. Control your feelings. Do what you feel. Thinking positive is thinking that life is pretty good right now and could get better. Us people in modern Western societies are better off than everyone in human history, even if we're poor. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't, then change the way you think about it. Happiness is following your true nature. Thinking positive is solving your problems. Disregard and ignore negative thoughts. If everything in your life was great and you had no worries, what would you do day by day? What are you really aware of? Knowing your mind is the most important thing in life. Confidence is being happy with who you are. Positive thinking needs life skills to be effective. Idleness causes depression. Try to love others, feel their pain and help them. Life is a gift. Use it to do something. Beauty is a light in the heart. An obsession is an unhealthy and compulsive fixation with something or someone. Chapter 3. Where do I fit in the world too? Why college is a lie in the social sciences and other useless majors. We're brainwashed that the cool, successful people go to college all through grade school. It not only costs a lot of money, but if you major in one of the social sciences, fine arts, or in any of their useless subjects, your degrees are fake knowledge with no practical use in the real world. The social sciences are supposed to teach you about life. It's not complicated. You don't need 40 or so college departments that supposedly teach you about life. It's all someone else's bullshit. I know what I need to know about life. I am my true nature given to me by whatever created me at birth. I know it and live by it. I try to be superficially polite to every human I come across. Beyond that, I'm not particularly interested in their little lives or bullshit. Everybody's got their own bullshit, sometimes called ego. Good for them. Live and let live. I got my own interesting life to live out the way my God created me to be. Those soft college majors don't end in a real practical job. You don't have to believe me. Read the articles at renz.com/datapages/profdoomdat.htm. A few majors at college lead to real jobs in a useful field like medicine, law, engineering, and computer science, but everything else is the fraud of college. Personally, I want colleges to get rid of all the meaningless subjects and become career schools, teaching only programs that lead to a real job in the real world. Some life truth. For truth seekers, it's to discover their true nature and learn about the world. For everyone else, it's supposed to be about getting a skill for a job. For many lost souls, college has no purpose other than to waste money. Unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you will have to pay your way for most of your life. You need to figure out a way to earn money. I say do not go to college unless you're going for a practical skill that ends with a license like physiotherapy, nursing, etc. Don't waste time in any of the social sciences. It's all someone else's bullshit about life. Once you know your own true nature, everything else about life becomes someone else's bullshit. The social life at college is transient. Everyone grows up and has bills to pay. Get a real skill for the real world. Agriculture is real. Sociology is bullshit. Here are some skills. Business education. Food sciences. Trade and industrial and health occupations. Marketing. Military. Our entire society is brainwashed from childhood that you go to college to get a degree or degrees to get a good job, but if you get degrees in meaningless subjects, there is no real job waiting at the end of it. Most rich people got that way in business. Unless you're an inventor or high-talent entertainer, get a real skill in the business world. Try working different jobs or doing internships to see if something out there is interesting to you. Scan job ads. Get my job book. Networking is the way lots of people find jobs. People talk to each other. Somebody says there's a job here or there. Try volunteering to see if something interests you. Many naive kids go to college simply because they were brainwashed all their lives to think that winners go there. You can spend years being aimless at college thinking that when I get this silly degree I'm doing there will be a job waiting for me. Then when you get the degree, you go out into the workforce and realize you have no practical skill. The college doesn't care. They got your money already. Ask colleges about scholarships. Free application for federal student aid, FAFSA. FAFSA.ed.gov. Do post-secondary enrollment. Take college courses in high school. Go to college fairs. The National Association for College Admission Counseling. Information for professionals, students, and parents. NACACnet.org. National Center for Education Statistics. NCES.ed.gov. College Finder. If you are planning to enroll in college as a freshman and you wish to participate in Division I or Division II athletics, get certified by the NCAA Eligibility Center. ncaa.org/eligibility center. Guide for the college-bound student athlete. Published by the NCAA. ncaa.org. National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, NAIA. 1200 Grand Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri, 64106-2304. 816-595-8000. NAIA.org. Don't go to college to socialize. Go to college to get a degree that will lead to a real practical job. Look for free college money mostly through scholarship websites. Scholarship applications take time to fill out with an essay and stuff. Try these online searches. Scholarship plus your city. Scholarship plus your race/ethnicity/religion. Scholarship plus your talent. Crowdfunding. Get rid of bad stuff about you online. Clean your social media sites. Practice some altruism as a way to get into a scholarship. AmeriCorps. 1201 New York Avenue, NW. Washington, D.C. 20525. 202-606-5000. TTY, 800-833-3722, toll free. AmeriCorps.gov. National Health Service Corps. Scholarships to students who are pursuing careers in primary care. 800-221-9393, toll free. NHSC.HRSA.gov. Public Service Loan Forgiveness. StudentAid.gov. Vocational Education Programs. 202-245-7700, email ova@ed.gov. Department of Education, Office of Vocational and Adult Education. ed.gov/about/offices/lists/ova/index.html. How to Get On in the World, A Ladder to Practical Success by Major A.R. Calhoun, 1895. This book is easy to find for free online. Major A.R. Calhoun said it way before the stuff we now called self-help success psychobabble was created. Here is the table of contents. I. What is success? 2. The importance of character. 3. Home influences. 4. Association. V. Courage and determined effort. 6. The importance of correct habits. 7. As to marriage. 8. Education as distinguished from learning. 9. The value of experience. X. Selecting a calling. 11. We must help ourselves. 12. Successful farming. 13. As to public life. 14. The need of constant effort. 15. Some of labor's compensations. 16. Patience and perseverance. 17. Success but seldom accidental. 18. Cultivate observation and judgment. 19. Singleness of purpose. XX. Business and brains. XXI. Put money in thy purse honestly. XXII. A sound mind in a sound body. XXIII. Labor creates the only true nobility to get on in the world. XXIV. The successful man is self-made. XXV Unselfishness and Helpfulness. It's a great book to read for an old book. He says it's not about ego, it's about character. Don't get into debt. Don't lie. Experience with analysis of it is the greatest source of wisdom. Don't give advice. Have a good conduct. They that will not be counseled cannot be helped. Many people don't want to listen to reason. To win is to do things so that you and the world benefits. Struggle or work with a high noble purpose. Don't let competition turn you into an evil schmuck. Success starts with preparation in a specific field. A hope that never flags. A patience that never grows weary. A courage that never wavers. A trust in God. Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might. Success is the fruit of intelligent hard work. Have a good character. Don't steal or lie. Make friends and allies. Have courage, willpower, and work hard. Always be superficially polite. Don't go overboard as with flirting. Learn by experience. Read a book or two about your field. Pick a field and stick with it. Constantly work. Be persistent. Love what you do. Stay healthy. Help others. Self-insight questions. What's your mission in life? What is your goal in the job world? What job do you want? What company do you want to work for? How greedy, selfish, and evil are you? How immoral can you be? Are you good in your soul or a selfish money-hungry egoist? What is your ideal job description? What are your best strengths? What skills do you need to work on? What are you naturally interested in? What would you like to learn? What are your greatest accomplishments? What are you curious about? If you were rich, what would you do day after day? How do you do your best work, by yourself or in a team? How can you improve your work style? Career info at cla.purdue.edu/students/career-resources/career-resources1.html. Find your life purpose. Do what you like to do that can be useful to others. What's holding you back? Identify obstacles. Fear. What did you do in your free time as a kid? In what did you excel? What jobs did you dream of doing? Carpe. Connect, assess, research, reflect, reassess, plan, execute. Figure out your values and interests at careercenter.georgetown.edu/major-career-guide/self-exploration. A flowery article about figuring yourself out in order to choose a career with no mention of the desperation within society. Many people do not have the luxury to contemplate life to see what career suits them naturally. They need a job now to pay bills.